It's a Taste of Memphis time.
Friday, April 7th from 5 to 10 p.m. at Tiger Lane. We will have entertainment, art exhibit, and also we will have food trucks. But most importantly, the neighborhood booth will be out there displaying their great neighborhoods. Friday, April 7th from 5 to 10 at Tiger Lane.
A Taste of Memphis, Friday, April 7th at Tiger Lane. Call 901-576-6986 or go to memphisacd.org.
And it's going to be the bomb diggity.
Welcome to HCD Neighborhood Connect podcast. My name is Paul Young. I'm the Director of Housing and Community Development.
And my name is Joyce Cox. I am the Manager of Office of Communications and Civic Engagement.
So, Joyce, we're excited to be here today. This podcast today is going to be about our neighborhoods, celebrating our diverse neighborhoods in the city of Memphis. We have some great leaders from throughout the community here today, so I'm excited to be a part of this conversation and this dialogue. And we just want to take this opportunity to celebrate what's going right.
Oh, and we have some wonderful things happening in our neighborhoods. Our communities are bar none. You know, Memphis is on the ball.
Right.
And, we just did the NUSA conference, and I always say, Memphis is the bomb diggity.
Now, you may want to explain what NUSA, what does that acronym stand for?
Well, NUSA stands for Neighborhoods USA, and that's where community people come together and they talk about the different problems, solutions that are happening in the communities all over the United States. Because after all, everything is just not germane to Memphis. It's everywhere. So we got to come up with some solutions, how we work together to make things better. And we have today some people that are doing that in Memphis.
Right.
You want to talk about Miss Linda Williams from Annesdale Snowden?
Yeah.
Rozelle, Annesdale.
Oh, Rozelle, Annesdale. I'm so
Important clarification.
Yes.
They're our neighbors.
And we also have Miss Debra Frazier from the Blue City Cultural Center, the executive director. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Without further ado, I think we could just dive on into the conversation. So I will start with you, Debra. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do with the Blue City Cultural Center?
Well, our whole philosophy begins with arts for a better way of life. Mm-hmm. That is our mission statement. And we look at the arts as engaging communities in every aspect of their and our lives. We all grow up in neighborhoods, and we recognize and realize that sometimes people do not want to address some of the issues that are going on head on. And so what the arts do is they allow people to discuss those issues without being or feeling attacked. So we look at several different things, and one of the biggest things we look at is how do we celebrate what is in our communities. So we have several projects that we do throughout the Memphis community. One is in Orange Mound. Actually, we are doing a project called If You Can't Stand the Heat, Get Out the Kitchen. And it's a soap opera that we're doing at the Orange Mound Services Center that deals with health in people who are 50 and over. And some of the major things that we deal with are high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity.
Okay.
And we're really excited about that. Our first show was not too long ago, and we had about 250 people there. Mm-hmm. A 30-minute episode, and then a discussion with experts in the field.
Great.
So.
Now, are you able to get a lot of the young people involved in these programs?
Yes, actually, I just left rehearsal from Melrose High School. They are going to perform at the Preserve America dedication that will happen because Orange Mound has been identified and recognized and honored now as a Preserve America community. And so the young people are going to perform part of their tour that they do about Orange Mound.
That is phenomenal.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about the tour that you guys did this summer working with the youth?
Yes, we're just excited. They actually developed, studied, interviewed elders in the Orange Mound community, and they took that and we went to 10 sites throughout Orange Mound. So people just did not hear about Orange Mound. They actually rode through it, and many of the very, to me, sacred things that are in Orange Mound, some have been torn down. But the young people reenacted those things. And I just want to say that there's a program called Foxfire, I believe, and this man up in the Appalachian Mountains had young people interview elders. And there was a woman that said that she couldn't wait to leave that community. She said, but when she heard the people tell the stories of their lives, she said, I need to stay. And that's what we want people to do in Orange Mound. We don't want to be a neighborhood where people leave. We want a neighborhood not only where people stay, but where they want to stay, because it is so valuable.
That sounds very powerful, and we want to jump to Linda, but before we do, that tour that you just talked about and that information, is that available anywhere, or will that tour actually happen again?
Yes, it'll happen every summer.
Every summer. That's awesome.
That's the goal. But we actually have 10 sites and that we go to, and we had done a small booklet, and now Middle Tennessee State has agreed to actually do a larger book for us, so that every summer we'll have different spots that we will go to.
Oh, okay.
So it will not be the same tour every year. The students will do reenactments and all kinds of things. And we also hope to actually add some more technical kinds of things to the tour as well.
That is awesome. This is the Neighborhood Connect podcast, and we are here with Linda Williams and Debra Frazier. So, Miss Williams, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the things that are going on in Glenview? Not Glenview. You just corrected us, too. So I apologize. Rozelle, Annesdale. That's another one of your neighbors, though.
Right. I'm very excited about our Books in the Park program that we're doing. Every year during the summer months, June and July, we have the children gather in the park and we read stories and books to them, and we feed them.
Wow.
At the end of all of that, we let them choose one book every Saturday at 10:30. They get to choose a book of their choice. We have books donated from all over the city. We put the word out, and everyone just been sending us books. It's a huge success. And I collect books all year so that we'll have a variety, Dr. Seuss and all kinds of books. Someone even gave us 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, wow.
But
yeah, that one might not be for the kids.
Well, we do have adults that come for books.
Right.
So we give books to everyone that show up in the summertime.
So how many kids do you
we started off with 30 children, and we went up to about 60. And it just fluctuates from week to week. But it's a great opportunity to showcase our wonderful parks that we work with. We keep them clean and plant flowers, and we have a tire garden that we've decorated and painted and made a place to gather, a safe place in the community for the children.
So
they sing songs.
Oh, wow.
They show off their talents. They did book reports this summer, which was so awesome. Because some of them, they were saying, what y'all doing over there? Because the kids are going home and reading books and writing reports. And this is in the summertime.
Right.
So that's one of our fun projects that we're very, very proud of. But we also fight blight. We cut vacant lots where there are empty houses that look like there's no one living there. Well, we make it look like someone's living there so that there are no break-ins and things like that. So we do all kinds of projects like that. We have 2 community gardens at Rozelle at Rozelle School, the Kappa School. We have one on the Walker side, and there's one on the side with the playground. We police the school grounds daily to make sure they're litter-free. We have our park, Rozelle&nbsp Park, across Lamar at Rozelle and Nelson, and we plant flowers there. So we're busy doing something. We involve the young children because we have to get them involved in taking care of their community and having pride in their community. And once you have something organized for them to do, they're excited about it.
So, Linda, if someone wanted to donate books, how would they get in contact with you?
You can bring the books to Rozelle School at the library. You can also bring them over to Linda Williams' house at 990 South Willette. My phone number, 901-279-1117. And I will go through the books because I kept the 50 Shades of Grey. And, the books that are appropriate for the children. They have different tables, so they're on different levels.
Good. So I was just going to also note that your neighborhood was one of the winners last year for the Taste of Memphis, an annual event that HCD has sponsored through Joyce and her leadership. Can you tell us a little bit about the award and what contributed to you guys winning
Love that. Well, it's judged on the things that you do, your projects. That's the biggest thing, your newsletters, all that stuff, your involvement in the community. But also it's the creativity. So we were the Wizard of Oz, okay? So we took off on the whiz, and I was the lion. And we had the wizard and all of the characters from Wizard of Oz, and it was great.
Wow.
So we told our story. We had little boxes and things and told about all the things that we were working on. So we just told our story, told everybody to follow the yellow brick road on to success.
So you used the arts to tell your story.
Right.
All right.
We have a creative camp that we sponsored for years and years at True Faith Baptist Church. And we taught the children to use what they have to be creative. And, we're a lower income area, and we have to be very creative on how we use our resources.
That's great.
Right. Well, this is the Neighborhood Connect podcast, and we're here with Linda Williams and Debra Frazier. And we're going to go to a break. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you.
And we will be back.
Hi, I'm Patrice Woods, Neighborhood Redevelopment Coordinator of the Office in Communication and Civic Engagement. You're listening to the Neighborhood Connect podcast.
This is the Neighborhood Connect podcast, and we're sitting here with Debra and Linda, and we're talking about the greatness of our neighborhoods. Debra, you want to tell us a little bit about some of the work that you've done with the Taste of Memphis?
Yes, I just remember the very first one.
Yeah.
That was so exciting. We had received a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission, and we had worked with an artist who actually works with people who have to be in sheltered workshops. And as she explained it, her name is Patty Mitchell. And I said, Patty, would you like to come to Memphis and work with us with a homeless women's program that we do? And she said, sure. So we made these gigantic 14-foot puppets. And at the very first puppet parade, we actually had people just grab masks and puppets and do this parade. Well, we've done it for 2 years, and this past year, we applied to the National Endowment for the Arts Challenge America grant, and we just received it. So Patty will be back.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, and she will be back to help us with the parade.
Fantastic.
And our parade will be bigger, and we will include more neighborhoods, and more people will be able to participate so lively in the parade that we have to celebrate a Taste of Memphis.
Well, the Taste of Memphis originally started out as an idea we wanted to give our neighborhood organizations 1 table, 2 chairs, and 4 hours to talk about their greatness. And it is growing and growing. And we are excited about it. Of course, later on in the show, we will be talking to our coordinator more about it, and she has just taken the ball and ran with it. And we've got some new things happening, and she's going to share those ideas with us. And Ms. Williams, you want to just give us a brief conversation about your what you have in front of us.
Well, we won the first place for the booth contest, the neighborhood booth contest, and we are so proud because we have worked hard ever since it started to Taste of Memphis and showcasing what we're doing in our community. And this time we were creative and did the Takeoff on the Wizard of Oz, and I think that really caught the judges' attention. Plus, my vice president, she's a great singer, and she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and that was really a showstopper. And I think that put us over the top.
Over the top.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here today again. This is the Neighborhood Connect podcast, and we are here with Linda Williams and Debra Frazier.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brenda Taylor, Executive Director of Glenview Community Development Partners Incorporated. You are listening to the Neighborhood Connect podcast.
Welcome to the HCD Neighborhood Connect podcast. I'm Joyce Cox.
And I'm Paul Young.
And today we have Miss Patrice Woods and Miss T.K. Buchanan to talk about, and we're celebrating the greatness of our neighborhoods in Memphis. First, we're going to start out with Miss T.K. You want to tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are in the community? I know you.
I know you too. We go back a few decades.
Yes, we do.
I am a native child of the River City, and I am still living in the neighborhood where I was born. And I serve as community safety liaison for the University District, all of the neighborhoods that cradle and support the University of Memphis, surrounding campus. There are 9 distinct, diverse, and very different neighborhoods that surround our campus. And what I do is work with each organization and our nonprofit partners on quality of life events, programming, and we've been working a very aggressive blight reduction strategy in partnership with all of those neighborhoods and with the new changes that have occurred with code and with 311.
That's great.
That's great. TK, I know there's a lot of great things that's happening around the university right now. I've seen the work at Highland Row, which took a while to get started, but now it's going and it looks great. What are some of the things that you guys have in the works right now?
I'm glad you mentioned the piano bar right across the street from my office because I'm still amazed. We are in full renaissance. It's a very big deal, and we're experiencing rapid commercial growth that has been complemented by even some growth in residential, and we are. Oh my goodness, we've got many new businesses opening up. We have a Casual Pint that just opened at Highland Row to complement Char Steakhouse, and about 600 new housing units right there on the corner in a tower. That's not necessarily a student tower, but we do have some students living in there. Right. But it's pretty nice. We have active associations going for each neighborhood. They're all registered with the state, all proper like. We have 3 nonprofits working on quality of life issues. UNDC got some headlines recently. They championed the application for tax increment finance deal for the Highland and University District overlay area. And with that, we hope to make a bunch of infrastructure improvement.
Right.
That's going to be pretty exciting. That's the missing piece. We'll make it more pedestrian friendly, and we will make the signs uniform, and we'll increase safety and walkability and all those things. With this capital fund coming in, and we're very excited about that as a complement to all of our other efforts.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think it's really important that when we think about our university districts, and that's for any city, that we see that as also economic development, because these are the future leaders of our community.
It is. We have a lot of special challenges associated with being a university district. I mean, in our city, as it is, we have a fairly high mobility rate where families move quite a bit. Well, in the university district, that's by design, right? Because ideally, we get you in and out of there in 4 years, and you are going on to careers and families. We've put a lot of energy into trying to make this district home forever. However, we've worked on assets from the cradle to the grave. We have good offerings for schools and for daycares. We have great offering for assisted living and for senior housing. So everything in between. So we're very excited about our next chapter, defining ourselves as a place to live, work, and play, and making sure that we have all of the assets that we need to pull that off.
Well, we're excited about the university districts because they are one of our partners as it relates to the Taste of Memphis. And we're excited about that. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I am excited. We have a blast with this, and we'd like to make it bigger and better than ever this coming one up. We want to take our task very seriously and welcome everyone for a Taste of Memphis, because you're coming into our western boundary. The year before last, all the neighborhoods came together and voted to include the Beltline neighborhood in our university district, and now we can connect all of the Tiger assets, right, from Tiger Lane, from the Liberty Bowl to the Park campus to main campus. And part of that work involves working with the Beltline on blight and crime, but it also involves coming together to celebrate. So all of Memphis is coming into the university district, into our neighborhood, and you guys are throwing a party on our porch. We are very excited about that. We're very appreciative, and we're going to show up in force. We've got lots of stuff planned. We're going to participate in we're already conceptualizing our parade offerings. We expect to have music. We expect to have, Pouncer, perhaps.
Yes,
right.
please.
It's going to be a good time. This is the Neighborhood Connect podcast, and we are here with TK Buchanan and Patrice Woods. We just started the conversation on the Taste of Memphis. So, Patrice, why don't you give us a little bit more insight as to what is this event, why do we do it, and what happens?
Well, 4 years ago, this was a brainchild that started with the concept of our neighborhood redevelopment conference. It was the ending to the conference. And so we had the conference 2 years, and then Taste of Memphis was by itself in 2015. And then this year we're trying to make it greater and better and showcasing our neighborhood uniqueness, their greatness. It's what we say, come and show and tell what's happening in your neighborhoods. We see on the news every night something happening in different neighborhoods that's not good. But this is a chance for all the community to come out, like TK said, in the University District, and show their greatness, what is happening, how they're combating crime, how they're combating blight, and how is all that taking place. And they come, they set up a booth, and as a wise person once said, they come and get 1 table, 2 chairs, 4 hours to share what's happening in their community, and also get a chance to talk to one another about what they're doing. And sometimes we lack that. We just think we're in an island by ourselves, and it's only happening in our community, and it's happening all over. Right. So when we come together, if I have a booth next to the university district, I can ask them, how you getting your blight down? How you decreasing crime, and take some of those strategies, because sometimes we don't have to create a whole new wheel. We can just pick up on what they're doing and strategize it to fit our neighborhood. So, but that's how a Taste of Memphis came into play, and we're looking forward to it's happening April 7th, 2017.
Great. At Tiger Lane.
At Tiger Lane.
So what can a resident from the public who just wants to come and see what this is all about, what can they expect when they show up?
It's a festival. It's a community, family-oriented festival. They will see the neighborhoods all dressed up and their tables decked out. They will see entertainment from our local entertainment. This year, we are attempting to add an arts component to it. So we're going to highlight different artists in Memphis in the art and craft building. So we're excited about it because earlier talked to Debra, and she talked about the increase in the parade and all of that. So we're really excited about really pulling in the arts community because that has been a big push in Memphis.
So who's a part of the planning of this event?
Neighborhood associations, the leaders. TK Buchanan is on our team. Ms. Linda Williams is on our team. Just people who live in the community said, I want to sit at the table, and they come meet every month, and we strategize on how to make this festival one in a million, or as our manager always say, the bomb diggity.
Exactly. Patrice, you want to talk about another great thing that we're going to do in 2017, and that is our how-to series.
So in 2017 is going to be a busy year for us. But when we had the Neighborhood USA conference, everybody was so excited about that conference that we still wanted to keep the momentum going. So in 2017, we will kick off our how-to series, how to brand your neighborhood, how to become a tax exempt, and on to help neighborhoods really get that one-on-one that they maybe didn't get at the conference, but this time it'll be intimate. They'll be able to talk with the facilitators about how to become these different type of things. Our first one in January will be how to brand your neighborhood, and the speaker is Allison Fouché. She's the marketing manager for the city of Memphis, so she will be there to help you learn how to brand your community in a positive way. So we're looking forward. We go all the way through December, so we're looking forward to doing that.
And we will plan to get this out to the community, the schedule.
Yes, it's
Great.
Going out in our newsletter. We will post it on our website and Facebook and social media, and word of mouth always works.
Great.
And if you want to register, you can contact our office at 901-576-6980. And
and it will be located at the main library, the Benjamin Hooks Library, 330 Poplar.
Great. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here today. This was an awesome opportunity for us to be able to celebrate what's right in our neighborhoods and celebrate the diversity of our neighborhoods. We will continue this conversation throughout the year, and it will be highlighted at the Taste of Memphis on April 7th at Tiger Lane. So thank you all for being here today. This is the Neighborhood Connect podcast with Paul Young
and Joyce Cox.
This is Neighborhood Connect, executive produced by the Division of Housing and Community Development, hosted by Paul Young and Joyce Cox for HCD, engineered, recorded, and produced by Kudzukian.